But yeah, I don't think I write for anyone or for a specific group. Rather, I just try to write. There's a saying in town here where it's like, write what you know.
Yeah.
So that's all I can really do is try to write what I feel and what I observe and my opinion and things, how I perceive certain things. I think that's the only way you can really do it. And where the chips fall, that's you kind of let people discover it on their own and hope they like it.
Yeah.
That's the hardest part of the whole thing. I live in a town where the best in the world do it. And there's so many different variables that go into this. I mean, brother, there's a guy right now that's scanning ground beef at Kroger that does it better than me. You can't be focusing on what other people are doing or how other people have gotten to a certain level. You have to focus on yourself and chasing greatness.
Welcome to Curious Goldfish, a podcast community where music and curiosity come together through interesting conversations with the music makers of our world. I'm your host, Jason English. You can find Curious Goldfish in all the major podcast and social media platforms. And of course, we have all of our content on our website, curiousgoldfish.com. So I'm really excited for you to see this week's episode. I got to sit down with Matt Rogers. He's not a household name, yet, but you can't tell me that his abilities, particularly with songwriting, don't stand up with the popular names in country music. A great example of this is a song called Camouflage, a raw look at the hidden epidemic of veteran suicide. A scary reminder that the battles sometime only really begin when the fighting ends. I will leave it to Matt to share the details, but the song is an incredible piece of both therapy and advocacy, and you could hear it for yourself at the end of the episode. But we also touch on a wide range of other topics, including dating in Nashville and the hilarious story about how he met his fiancée Megan. And he goes into some of his other songs too, like the poetic You're My Hallelujah and the rambunctious White Trash Royalty. Meeting Matt was another reminder of how thin the line is between quote-unquote making it in the music industry and not. Matt has definitely secured a place when it comes to songwriting productivity. Here's hoping his Georgia sound and his Georgia attitude find more ears, because more people need to hear him. He's chasing greatness by just being himself. Now from Nashville, Tennessee, here's Matt Rogers. Let's dive in. Matt, appreciate your time, man.
Yeah, man. Good to be here with you.
Yeah, so I wasn't born in Georgia, but I consider myself, Georgia boy now. A couple of Georgia boys here in Nashville.
There we go.
So it's good to connect with you.
Yeah, man.
Appreciate your time. So you have a lot going on. Songs, sounds like you're getting married in a few months, which is awesome. But before we get into all that, I guess tell us the elevator pitch for Matt Rogers.
Man, I'm just trying to grind it out. I'm chasing the best songs that I can write. I love that part of the creative process, right? Yeah. It's so fun. It's so fun to see. It's like one of the few jobs where you can go into work with absolutely nothing and you pull from the atmosphere and create something. It's like most jobs, you can walk into and you have a steel panel that you turn into a car door or something, and that's probably a terrible analogy, but music's one of the few things where there's nothing like that. You just pull from nothing and create. So I really enjoy the songwriting process and seeing the song come to life in the studio. It's just the whole thing is cool. So right now, what I'm just trying to do is write absolutely great songs, the best songs I can write.
Well, I was so excited to meet with you because I didn't know of you until we set this up. And what I love about you is there's like country music and then there's country music. So you've got this unbelievable talent of taking traditional sort of country themes, like white trash, whatever. And like the hooks but then going not just one layer deep, but 3 or 4 layers deep. So I'm totally impressed by how the thoughtfulness, I guess, of the songs. And I think, do you have like 500 composing credits under your belt by now? Is that the right number?
Yeah. I mean, it's,
that's a big number.
I've been in this town for 10 years, and the first handful of years I was writing as much as I could.
I mean, that's a lot. That's a big output.
So there's quite a catalog built up now, but you're always learning. It's like math or yoga. You're never going to beat it, so you just keep working the problem.
Yeah. Well, you touch on a bunch of deep topics again, which, not to overgeneralize country music, but a lot of country music doesn't go there. I guess at what point, as an artist and as a songwriter, did you say, okay, like that's important to me, and like I'm just going to do that rather than, creating beer cans, pickup trucks, whatever, right?
Right. Well, I worked in the medical field in Macon, Georgia for a number of years. I got out of college, had that little quarter life crisis about trying to figure out what I was going to do with my life. Went back to school, got into medical imaging, and was working for a group of neurosurgeons in Macon, Georgia, working in the operating room, doing like C-arm and O-arm stuff, and then CT, MR kind of things. And but I had a band down there, and I was writing music, and I was releasing music, and opportunity kind of came up, and I was already coming to Nashville probably once a month for maybe a year and a half, 2 years. And just made the decision, started saving money and said, hey, I'm going to do this, jump into the deep end, no plan B kind of thing. So that's what we've been doing since June of 2015.
So it was 2015, so 10 years.
10 years.
Jeez. Yeah.
They say it's a 10-year town, so any minute now.
Hey, we're here, man. That's awesome.
I don't know where I turn in my 10-year chip.
Yeah.
Get that, you just trade that in for a number one somewhere, they say, but I don't know where.
So tell me about Georgia. And I know you I think in a few different spots in some of your songs, you throw some shade on Alabama and Roll Tide and Go Dogs and stuff. But in terms of Macon, Georgia, and the part of Georgia where you grew up, I mean, there's so much musical influence there. How early in your life did you come to respect and understand that?
Oh, it was always there. And my parents were so diverse in the music that I was exposed to. So I think that's why my inspirations are all over the place. It's not like I was just locked into one type of music or one genre even.
Yeah.
And it was also cool because they would expose me to this stuff, but let me discover on my own as well.
Okay.
So like I am one of the biggest Allman Brothers fans you'll ever meet. Right. And I kind of, I was exposed to it, but it wasn't pushed on me. So when I got really into it, then my mom started with the stories of how she was like hanging around Phil Walden's lake house on Lake Sinclair when Greg was married to Cher, and was just around this group, and Marshall Tucker Band played her college graduation and all this stuff. And I'm just like, my heroes, so it's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's great. Georgia is just so rich of the music. Here in Nashville, in terms of kind of looking back and drawing from where do you get most of your inspiration? Is it your faith background? Is it the family? Is it, just...
I think it's just life in general, man. There's that huge spectrum of emotions, and at any given point, you can just pluck one right out of wherever it's at, you know. And what I do a lot for myself is therapy. Whatever I'm feeling in that moment, if I have an idea that sparks, I sit down and start writing lines out. I don't know if it's ever going to become a song, or if there's if it can be put together or arranged or whatever, but it's sometimes capturing. That's another cool part about songwriting, right? Is capturing something that's in a millisecond and stretching it out to 3 minutes, and taking something that might be years and putting it into 3 minutes. That's the whole beauty of it. Yeah.
Well, yesterday I had the honor of interviewing a member of the Nashville Songwriter Hall of Fame, Roger Murrah.
Oh yeah.
And 14 number one hits and a bunch of other ones. And one thing he said here in Nashville, there's a lot of good songs, but he's always looking for the exceptional one. And he said it's partly innate in what he calls the gift, but a lot of it is just comes through training, right? And practicing. So like for you, with 1,800 songs now that you've written, is it inside you and has always been inside you, or is it some of it learned through the process?
I think so. I think you have to have a little bit of that creative spirit, right? Where it's like, let me write down and put into words this feeling, right? But you definitely learn being here, and people like Roger absolutely are teachers. So when you can write up, obviously that guy knows what he's doing, but even his publishing company, my friend Rachel Thibodeau and Luke Bryan wrote for him, and Jamie Teachner, and they had a bunch of success. And I think that's it. It's like a muscle. If you don't use it, you lose it. So you think you're learning how to write songs. You think you know how to get what you're feeling out on a page, and it's cohesive and it makes sense. But when you get up here with these folks that have been doing it for years and years and have had lots of success, you learn real quick that you're not the sharpest knife. Some of these guys can take and twist ideas and make just the most incredible piece of art, and it's just so second nature to them.
Yeah.
It's just routine, and I think that's part of it. I have a song called Thunderbird that I tell a story all the time, where it's like I live with this guy named Heath DeLoach, who's from Moultrie, Georgia, one of my best friends, one of the best songwriters that I know, and we would get online and use like a random word machine, engine that would just spit out a word, and we'd take that word and go for an hour and a half to our rooms and write, because the thought was, if we could take any random thought and write it, then when we had a good idea, maybe we could execute.
Yeah.
And that's how one of my songs came to existence, called Thunderbird.
That's awesome. That's really good. All right, so I just picked a few of my favorites, and we'll come back on a couple of these and go deep on the songs. But I think there's I think it's in Camouflage. There's 2 lines that I love. So there's a reference to devil dogs, the Marine Corps, and you say something about devil dogs ain't supposed to cry, right? And I was too chicken to join the Marines, but my father and my brother were both Marines, so I love that, because it's like they're not supposed to cry. They're tough Marines, and so I know there's a lot there that we're going to unpack. And then at the end of that song, you talk a lot about this idea of camouflage, but at the end, it's like you're not just camouflage, meaning I take it to mean that you're not hidden, like you need to be seen. Right?
Yeah, it's multifaceted there, right? Yeah, I mean, that you are seen, you are appreciated. We do understand the plight of what you went through most of the time, and it's okay to talk about that stuff. The whole mission behind the song and with Brothers Keeper is to destigmatize that asking for help and to be able to treat mental health.
Well, let's go deep on Camouflage then while we're here.
Sure,
so what was the inspiration for that?
It came from the loss of a friend that was completely unexpected. A guy that did 23 years in the U.S. Marine Corps and U.S. Army, and retired as a sergeant major, and only a few months later took his own life. And I was in the middle of like a 10-day run on the road, got the news on like the first weekend, knew I wasn't even going to be able to get back for the services. And my guitar player, Nick Reed, one of my best friends in the world, he's a U.S. Army combat vet. He's played guitar with me for like 8 years. I told him the story that night, and he's lost friends the same way. And we just kind of wrote a song in the hotel room that night. We didn't really expect anyone ever to hear it. It was like a therapy thing, kind of just the bitch about a broken system and kind of talk about this epidemic that's running rampant through the veteran community. And the VA says like 17.6. There's other stats say 22 a day. There's been a number of studies that say it's anywhere from 45 to 70 veterans a day take their own life. When you calculate other things like overdose and things like that. So it's a problem, and it needs to be addressed, and it's like it just gets swept under the rug. And this transition back to civilian life is so hard for some of these guys, and we're hoping to, let them renew that sense of purpose and understand that there's people that are here to help with that kind of thing, right? So we wrote that song. We didn't expect anyone ever to hear it. I let a good friend of mine, Travis Roth, who's a former Green Beret guy here, local to town, hear it, and he connected me with an organization I had done work with before, Brothers Keeper Veteran Foundation, who's headquartered out of Georgia, Flowery Branch, and Chris Cathers, the founder of that, also a former Green Beret guy, was like, man, we gotta put that song out. You gotta do something with that song. And I said, well, if we're gonna do something with it, we need to make an impact. We need to make a change. So 100% of that song, all the master royalties, all the radio play, all the downloads, all the streams, all of it goes to that organization so they can continue doing the work that they do. At any given time, they have 80 to 90 veterans in their care. They use on average like 6 resources, whether that's VA benefits, mental health, sober living, etc. They just do an incredible work, and couldn't be more proud to be representing and working with them, and hopefully raising some money and making a change.
Oh, good for you. I mean, that's amazing. And that's one of your most recent releases, right?
Yeah, that came out on May 30th on the 1-year anniversary of the loss of my friend.
Oh my gosh. Well, thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
That's incredible. And so I guess, back to the songwriting, and what I opened with was just exciting to my excitement to meet you, because again, you go a step or two deeper, and the poetic aspect of some of your stuff too. It's funny, but it's also poetic. Like South Dakota Skies. I love the imagery of like the stars are asking the questions in the South Dakota skies. I mean, okay, what questions are they asking?
Yeah, I mean that was the vagueness of it. That came from like a point of crisis. I had gotten out of a deal. I had just put a full record out, and I felt like I almost kind of wasted it because we didn't have the right plan in place, and it did not get the exposure that I was hoping it would get. And I had gone back on the road, was kind of picking up the pieces and trying to figure out what to do next. And I was playing some shows, doing some early morning radio spots and some midday news segments, and the shows were going terrible. They were just awful. And I was trying to kind of just market that area before I went back later in the year with the band and tried to sell tickets, and got to the Saturday night show out of that like 5-day run, and was just having that question that we have a lot as songwriters and as dreamers was this a very good career choice? And, I just felt like I didn't really get anything out of the whole run. And
oh, wow.
That was time away from my friends and from creating and all of the things. And I just looked up at the stars that night and was like questioning everything. And like I said, it's therapy for me a lot of times. Grabbed the pen, started jotting stuff down, and luckily I had that 17-hour drive home the next day by myself. So I was able to hum it out and just kind of wrote the whole song in the truck.
Yeah, that's amazing. Did you go to Wall Drug, by the way, up in South Dakota? Do you remember?
No,
Have you seen all the billboards for that?
No, I remember seeing, I think, but I was in a real small town called Pickstown, South Dakota.
Okay.
So I was like right over the border.
Okay. Another song that I love is "You're My Hallelujah." Obviously, you grew up with a strong faith, playing praise bands, things like that. So I love how you take this very spiritual topic and word from the Bible, and you relate it to sort of a romantic, romantic partner, right?
Sure.
I mean,
it's like I've not been very good at love songs. And oddly enough, the guy that was managing me and produced that track and a few others, Matt McClure, is a writer on that, as well as a guy named Nate Smith, who's killing it. I think he just had his 4th #1 as an artist at country radio, and Marty Dotson's on that as well. So it was a really cool song just to be able to get in the studio and kind of see it come to life, and the whole choir and the whole blurring those aspects, right? Of because God is very much involved in love. So that was kind of the whole tying the two together.
No, it's amazing. Like, I don't know if this is the completely accurate lyric, but from my memory, it's like, waking up next to you is like a stained glass altar call.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. That's really good.
Yeah. Well, those are like, some of my favorite writers, that's what they are so good at. Like there's a guy named Jason Isbell that is just, you can close your eyes and you can see the whole song, right? Yeah. I call those brush strokes, right? Yeah. Like those visualizer things, and always trying to get better at those kind of things.
Do you feel more comfortable with writing yourself or with doing co-writes and stuff?
For the longest period of time, I had no idea what a co-write was. Yeah. I wrote all my songs by myself, but I think it's important to do both. You learn a whole lot by writing with writers that do it every day and have been doing it for longer than you. They're just better at it. It's just like anything else, right?
Yeah.
Any other job or profession, anybody that's been doing it longer than you and has had success at it is probably going to be better than you. So you can definitely learn from those folks, but until you understand some of the tools of the trade and understand how to craft and put an idea together, once you understand some of those things, I think you do better when you write by yourself, because now you can apply those same processes, right? So, like I said, it's like math or yoga. You're never going to beat it. It's music's just one of those things that is just always evolving, and you can always get better, and there's no rules. So you got to keep yourself from staying in a box. You have to constantly be pushing your creativeness to try to create something new, something different. And,
so we talked about South Dakota Skies, which is more of this nature or universe mindset, talking about You're My Hallelujah, about love and romance. But then another sort of angle is this song called White Trash Royalty, which is sort of kind of straight down the fairway of like a good country song. And this line is insane, right? To hell with the Joneses who live up the street. In our neck of the woods, we're white trash royalty.
Right.
I love that.
It's just a silly idea, I think I was just told in conversation as someone was telling a story one night over those back porch beers in South Georgia, and I was like, I cannot wait to get back to Nashville and put that one on the paper right there. So it was one of those ideas, you just try to fill it with all of the things that you grew up exposed to, grew up around, it's not always about keeping up with the Joneses. Sometimes you got it made just where you're at.
Yeah. It seems like your target audience, it's probably as many people as you want, but it's sort of the 30 to 45-year-old male who's maybe blue collar, that is has a family, trying to provide, trying to make it, and is kind of stuffing feelings, insecurities, struggles kind of down in, and you're trying to get into that and pull it out. It's like when you're, not every song, maybe not white trash royalty, but other songs, right? Like you're trying to like get to that. Am I on the right track there?
Yeah, I mean, I hope so, because if I've been trying to figure out my target audience the whole time, so I'll have to jot down that, I'll know. But yeah, I don't think I write for anyone or for a specific group. Rather, I just try to write. There's a saying in town here where it's like, write what you know.
Yeah.
So if that's all I can really do is try to write what I feel and what I observe and my opinion and things, how I perceive certain things. I think that's the only way you can really do it. And where the chips fall, that's you kind of let people discover it on their own and hope they like it.
Yeah.
That's the hardest part of the whole thing.
Yeah. Well, you made the comment earlier, maybe it was before we were recording, about, so your songwriting prowess is sort of, undeniable, but you're trying to, like the artist thing, you're trying to really get that going. The crazy thing for me is just a music fan is, you've got the look of
debatable.
Well, no, you've got the look of like, country music, right? You've got the background, Southern Georgia. You've got the voice and the sound.
Also debatable.
No, like it's there. And then you've got the songwriting, which is not just like good, it's really, really good. And so I ask this in all due respect, but I've heard, I'm 51. I've heard so many country songs through the years. Your stuff blows most of what I've heard out of the water. And so it's like the line of quote unquote making it's so thin. And I'm not saying you haven't made it, but you know what I'm saying? Like, as an artist, it's like, what do you think about that?
I live in a town where the best in the world do it. And there's so many different variables that go into this. I mean, brother, there's a guy right now that's scanning ground beef at Kroger that does it better than me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I live in a town where the best in the world do it. And you can't be focusing on what other people are doing or how other people have gotten to a certain level. You have to focus on yourself and chasing greatness. Like if you're chasing dollar signs or fame or whatever else, you're here for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
It's not, country music awards. Yeah, they're cool. But if you're chasing awards, you're here for the wrong reasons. Like I think there's folks that come to this town because they have something inside of them that they have to get out. And I think those are my favorite people to work with and my favorite people to be around.
Oh, that's great. So speaking of artistry, where do you think you are as an artist, and where do you want to be?
That's also a great question. You have, obviously, if you don't set the goal, the bar is as high as you want to set it. Ultimately I'd love to, but making it's a relative term. I have great memories. I have great friends. The lights are paid. I have a house, so that they're all relative terms. I think, ultimately you're always just looking for that next rung on the ladder, for things to be even more sustainable or cement you more into your career and into your, what you're trying to do and grow. But, why wouldn't you set the bar at Garth Brooks? Anybody that tells you otherwise, I think's crazy. Obviously you want to be the best entertainer and be selling stadiums, if you're really serious about being an artist, I think you have to be honest with yourself to say that. But ultimately you just want sustainability. You want to just do this for the rest of your life and not have to worry about doing any other jobs.
Do you enjoy, I think I've read where you've enjoy very much live performing.
It's my favorite thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I say that. If we talk about any aspect long enough, I'll be like, you know what? That's my favorite thing. I just love the whole thing.
Yeah.
I love the whole thing. There's nothing there's not quite a rush that you can get anywhere else than a great live show with a great audience and a great energy on, when everything just clicks. That's the highest high you can get. There's nothing better than that. I have a theory. That's why so many folks in this genre, this world, this realm of being creatives, of being artists and stuff. I think that's why there's so many substance problems, to be honest, because once you taste that kind of high, it's hard to get anything to get close to it. So you have to keep it between the lines with that kind of stuff. But there's just a magic that happens when everything's just lines up,
I think you've talked about this notion of the energy exchange, right? I think you've said that.
Totally. Yeah. Totally.
Where when you're performing, there's a like what describe that energy that you feel.
Well, not to get all hippy dippy about it, but I mean, it's palpable. I mean, it's something that can be felt physically. You can feel it before the first note of music gets struck, when everyone's excited and it's a packed room and it's going to be loud and it's going to be live, and it's just, there's a feeling, there's just an energy that goes through it. And when you hit that magic moment and that you're one with your crowd and the people in front of you, it's hard to explain. It really is hard to explain.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, you said earlier, just depends on the topic, what you enjoyed the most, but it sounds like you love to write songs, or else you wouldn't have written so many. And it sounds like that live bits.
Well, you can reach that magical point on the graph, right? Where it's like, here's a song that meant a whole lot to me, that I poured my heart and soul into. And then you see it come to life in the studio, and when you're producing it, and when you're talking over all the things that needs the little nuance parts, right? And you see that final product come to life, and then it goes out to the world, and then it's received, and then you play it live, and you find people that it connects with as well. It's a pretty wild thing when all of that stuff comes together. And I mean, even at my level, it's still magical. So I can't imagine what it's like when you can do it in an arena and they're just hanging on to every syllable.
Yeah, they know every word. Yeah, no, it's cool. Let's should we hold off on a minute for a minute?
Really not.
It's not bad. Okay, good. All right, cool. Do you mind? I'm not going to get personal, but
As in the woods. Sorry.
in the woods. Can I ask about your engagement and
Sure.
kind of that whole aspect of where you met her and everything? I'd love to do that, and then we can wrap up. How should I? All right. So with everything going on, you managed to get engaged. You're getting married early next year. Where'd you meet your fiance?
Right here in Music City, USA. Tell you, it's a crazy story. It honestly is. Dating in this town's hard. I only dated, I think I only dated one person this whole time I've been here besides her.
Yeah.
And I have a deal with Durango Boots, a company out of Nelsonville, Ohio. They're owned by Rocky Boots. And my point of contact there went to high school with my fiance. So one night after we had gone and done backstage at the Opry and went out to dinner afterwards or something like that, I was going to take my point of contact from Durango back to the airport. She was like, my friend's going to meet us for a drink real quick. She just got off work. She works at Vanderbilt. And
oh, cool.
She came in, and it was nice to meet you, one of those kind of things, I didn't think much of it. But she was friends with another artist friend of mine that was kind of in that world. And our friend group started to overlap more and more. And probably get in trouble for telling this whole story, but it's all right. We're all friends here. One night, the Predators were playing for the kind of in the Stanley Cup playoffs. And we had a bunch of friends meet us out and having some beverages and enjoying Music City, And as it got later, more and more of our friends started breaking off going home. And it boiled down to kind of the end of the night. And one of my buddies that was playing drums for me at the time had a crush on Megan's roommate. And he was like, man, you can't leave me here. You can't leave me here. You got to wingman me. You got to wingman me. And her roommate was telling her, hey, please don't leave me yet. I want to see where this goes. Let's hang out. So it keeps getting, now it's us four. Everyone's left, and it's boiling down. It's getting later and later. We go to Alan Jackson's to see a friend of ours play, and then we went to Legends Corner. And we're watching them the whole night be really awkward with each other. And they're trying to dance, and there's more drinks flowing, you know. And eventually, my buddy keeps trying to kiss her roommate, and she's like dodging and weaving, and she's not having it. And I kind of joke about it. I was like, he's doing it all wrong. He's doing it all wrong. She's like, what are you talking about? And I was like, this is how you have to do it. And I kissed her on the bar stool at Legends, and then she just has been there ever since.
That's a great story. So
we just got engaged, and we're getting married in January of this year down in Mexico, a little small getaway destination thing. But yeah, really looking forward to that.
Congratulations on that. So what happened to the other two?
Nothing.
Nothing.
I think that was the last time they hung out.
That's perfect. That's so good.
So the one that was supposed to work out didn't, and the one that didn't have a clue that it was there. Clue.
What's her name?
Megan.
Megan.
Yeah.
How big of an inspiration has she been for your songwriting?
Oh, totally. You know, I mean, this is not an easy career path for someone to want to be with you in. You know, there's a lot of ups and downs. There's a lot of struggle. There's a lot of being gone. Just the being gone aspect of it is tough. You know, I'm getting ready to go for another 2 weeks to Europe at the 1st of September here. I don't know when we're going to air, but in September.
Okay.
And, you know, that's tough for her to,
yeah,
you know, manage everything by herself at the house. So
yeah,
she's a trooper, man. And she's a nurse practitioner at Vanderbilt and works in cancer, which is another tough place just to be involved in and to be working in.
Yeah.
She is definitely a rock for me.
Well, that's awesome. Congrats on that.
Thanks, man.
All right. So the spirit of this podcast is curiosity, among other things. So I asked this of everybody, and I can't wait to hear your answer. But given where you are, 10 years here in Nashville, engaged with everything that's you've experienced and what's ahead of you, what are you most curious about?
Oh, man. I don't ever turn the curious button off, I don't think. So I get curious about all of it, you know. The world in general is just such a wild place, and there's just so much we don't know. And you don't realize this till you get a little bit older, too. The more you learn, the less you know. Okay. And that's like, the more I figure out things, I realize that I don't know exactly anything, you know? So I think it's just constantly trying to figure things out. I don't know if I could put a pinpoint on it. You know, what is the most... I don't know. I don't know where I would go with it.
That's
yeah,
right,
it's a tough thing to think about, you know, when what am I most curious about? Yeah, I don't know.
That's all right.
That's
all good. No, you're good. You got a lot of something. That's for sure. Well, Matt, I appreciate your time, man.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, good luck with everything. Good luck with the with your marriage.
Yeah, I'm going to
the wedding. That's awesome. That's awesome. You and Megan, it's so good. And go Dogs.
Yes, sir.
All right. Love to hear some music.
Let's
play
some
song. All
right,
man. All right. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Hey, I'm Matt Rogers. This one's called Camouflage. One of the few and the proudest out of Camp Lejeune, built by Uncle Sam to be bulletproof. When they sent him overseas, he knew he might not come back. But the tours of duty, they flew on by, gave him some medals and gave him some stripes, and in the blink of an eye, half his life was gone like that. One war was over, but another was just beginning. When it's all you know, it's hard to be a civilian. Thank you for your service, son, you're good to go. Sorry about your buddies that ain't coming home. It's a little late in life to be someone new. Bottle everything up, keep it deep inside. Devil dogs ain't never supposed to cry. And we'll all ignore the hero in the room. Blame it on camouflage. We just walk on by them like they ain't there, still waving a flag and pretending to care. We say it's not our problem, it's not alone, and we're here to help if you want to start something new. 'Cause God only knows what you keep inside. Don't give in, stay in the fight, 'cause we always see the heroes in the room. Yeah, the ones that went to war for me and you. No, you're not just camouflage. No, you're not just camouflage.